Hi there, hey, this is Kristi Villani from My Quilting Loft. How are you? I hope that you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful time with our sew along that we're doing. And oh my goodness, this is our last block. I'm so excited to show you. I hope that you're gonna love it as much as I do. And I tell you what, I've already made one to have as a sample. And I'm gonna definitely do something extra special with this block, and I cannot wait for it. But anyway, so are you ready to see this? Ready? I'm gonna go ahead and put this right up here, and hopefully you'll be able to see it okay. What do you think? How's that? I love it. It's called, well, I've heard it called the exploding star, but I like to call it, it's a star in a star in a star. And you know what I think would be really fun? To just keep on going and making that bigger and bigger and bigger. But that's not what we're doing. So now this block is a little bit different because rather than use a block from our Quick and Easy Block Tool book, I just did this one up on my EQ program, and I am so excited because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make one of this block right here, and it is 22 inches square. Just one, 22 inches square, and then you're going to, and that's not including this sashing border around it. You're going to also need that. But I have the directions here for you, and all you gotta do is just click on the link below and you will find that. I'm also gonna have it up on our website at myquiltingloft.com so you can download it, print it out, but now don't be sharing it with somebody because I made this. I don't have it copyrighted yet, but you know what? Please just, play by the rules. This is how we work. All right, so I am really excited about this one because look at that. Isn't it so pretty? I really am so excited for you to see how this fits in with all of the rest of your blocks. And I think your quilt is going to turn out spectacular. So let's just jump right in, shall we? Okay, so you're going to want to cut all your fabrics out according to the directions from the link below, or you can go to myquiltingloft.com and download it from there and print it out. Or if you're a local, you just come on into the shop and see me and I'll give you your copy of it. And anyway, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut out all your fabric ahead of time according to the sizes that we have here. The Flying Geese method that will work with the sizes that I'm having you cut are the stitch and flip method for Flying Geese. So that means you're just going to take your sky piece here and your wing piece there, and you're going to want to line those up very precisely. Now, if you have the diagonal seam tape on your machine that you're using, you're not going to need to draw a line from corner to corner. But if you don't, you're going to want to just do this real simple step and just mark a line from corner to corner on that, and then you're going to sew right on that line. And I recommend that you sew actually just like a thread's width to the right of it. That way you'll have your block will fold over just right. But if you sew, aim for right on that line, or just like this is the infinitesimal bit past that line. Okay, so we're just going to do that, and it's going to be super simple. Okay, so now before you go cutting this, I want you to take a second and flip it back. Flip back your corner and finger press that on the line and make sure that that looks right here. It should look nice and square with the rest of the rectangle. If it is a little bit shy of that or a little bit past that, then you need to redo that. I was watching Pat Sloan video this morning on YouTube, and she was talking about that, and I was like, that's brilliant, that's very important, and I'm glad that I heard that, because that needs to be what I'm talking about today, is in that stitch and flip. So I gotta give credit to Pat Sloan because her videos are super fun to watch. Okay, so once you've pressed that and you've made sure it's the right size, then lay it back like that. Trim off that excess. Press that back. I would even at this point, whoop, touch that with the iron real quick so it lays nice and flat before you want to lay your next. Oh, that one's not very straight. Okay, press that nice and flat before you lay the next piece on there. Make sure that it is right sides together. Lay that on there. It should overlap a little bit. You see that right here where that overlaps a little bit with the other wing. Draw a line corner to corner. And same rules apply. Go. Sew that on there, flip it back and check. Oh, no, that is not good. See what I mean? This is why we check. Okay, so you're going to repeat this process 4 times to make the little geese that go around your inner star. So I'm going to do that real quick and then I'll check right back in with you. Okay, so now I've got 4 of my little teeny tiny flying geese units all sewn and put together. Aren't they so cute? I love these little teeny tiny flying geese. Now don't be intimidated by them. They are not so small that you're going to have a problem with them, I promise. Okay, so next thing you're gonna want to do is you want to lay these little guys out around your center block. And then you put your little small squares here around that. And then look, you got your first little block. Now, do you know what this block is called? Before it's a star and a star and a star block. Do you know what that one's called? Do I know what that one's called? Well, what you can do, if you're not sure, if you have a block that you're wanting to check out, this is still a really handy book. This is the Quick and Easy Block Tool book. And so if you see a block out and about that you're like, what is that? How do I do that? You can look it up in here and see if maybe it's something that you could do. Oh, and look at that. It's called a sawtooth block. Sawtooth star block. But you knew that, didn't you? I just wanted to give another shout out to this book who's been super helpful. But you know what book has been really, really, really helpful? Is this one here. This Quick and Easy Block Quilt Block Quilt. Let me say that 3 times fast. Quick and Easy Quilt Block Builder book. This thing will tell you all the ways that we have gone over for making half square triangles, quarter square triangles, flying geese, all the different ways to do all of those things, and are all right here in this book, and with even charts that are super handy for what sizes to put everything. So that is a really fantastic book. And right now I have more on order, so hopefully by the time you see this, I'll have more in the shop, but I guarantee I'm going to keep having those on hand because I think they're a book. I think this is a book that every quilter is going to need to have. It's that handy. Okay, so now I'm just going to sew my rows together just like this. Going to sew these together like that, and then I'm going to put those together and sew that just like that. Okay? So I'm going to do that real quick and meet you right back here. Okay, now make sure when you're sewing your Flying Geese unit onto your center block that you don't chop off the point. Now we've talked about that a lot of times. Just remember to keep your stitches going either right through that X or just to the right of them, just a hair, or otherwise you're going to be chopping off the point of that block, and you don't want that. This is going to be the very middle of this block. So you just want to make sure that you have all the pointy points. Okay, so after you have sewn each of your rows together, you're going to want to press these. You're going to want to press your top and bottom row with your seams going toward the corner units. So you're going to want to do that, and then press the middle blocks so that they go in towards the middle. The middle geese want to go to the middle block, and then the bottom ones, just like the top, you want those to be pressed out in that direction. This way you're going to have nesting seams and you're not going to have too much bulk. Sometimes blocks just tell you which direction they want to go, and this is one of them. Okay, so now we're just going to sew these rows together. Now you're going to interlock those seams. Put a little pin in there so it'll stay put, so that your intersections are going to line up. They'll nest nicely, and if you end up needing to have if one piece is not quite lining up with the other, maybe one's a little bit small, one's a little bit bigger, then still you want your edges to line up. So line those up, and then you can make the rest work. You can stretch it into shape. Don't sew over your pin. Don't sew over your point. Now this time you're going to want to press your upper block toward the middle. And then do the same thing. Line your seams up. Don't sew over your pins or your points. And there, this is our middle block of this is our star that's in a star in a star right here. This is the one. Okay, press that nice and flat. And then now you're going to just do the same thing. You're going to take your next pieces for your next Flying Geese. You're going to do the same thing with those, and then you're going to line them up here, And I'm going to skip ahead and show you that real quick, okay? So you're going to be so good at these flying geese by the time you're done with these. Remember, you just place it, mark it, stitch it, trim it, and flip it. Easy, easy. Okay, so real quick, I want to make sure that you remember that when you're sewing on your second wing to your flying geese unit, and you're going, which way, you don't want to sew that way. You can always do a little imaginary, pretend you sewed it. That's not what you want it to look like. You want it to look like that. So go, okay, yep, that's where I'm gonna sew. So, just that real quick. Okay, back to sewing. Okay, so one more little trick here. Now, sometimes this little extra bit is like, that's a lot of waste. These are kind of good pieces. Well, if you sew a second stitch on the inside, on the side that you're going to chop off anyway, sew it about at maybe a ½ inch away from your first line, and then we're just going to cut. You got to cut that piece off anyway, so cut between those lines, and then look. You have a bonus little half square triangle. You could save this and use it in something. Put it in, make it in a little pillow or something that would go with it. That, if you're wondering what these are from when I did this block. I did the same thing, but with the bigger one. And look at the size half square triangles I got from that. Just sew a second line, cut in between them, and you have a bonus. Okay, so now we're going to take our middle star, our little middle star, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to lay out our geese so that the wings are pointing away from the star, so it makes a star looking shape, that, as of course. And then put your little solid blocks here in the corners. Sew your rows together. Then sew those rows to the middle. You get the idea, right? It's really not hard. So just gonna sew those on there. And now you can chain piece, chain piece. You know what that means? I imagine most of you know what that means, but there's probably one or two of you out who are secretly going, what is she talking about? That just means where you take one piece and you sew it, and then the next one, you don't take this one off until you sew the next one on, and the next one, and the next one. Now this one, you're going to want to make sure that is lined up on there just right. And don't sew off that point. I think if you've learned anything from my tutorials is that you'll notice, I'm not picky about some things, but sewing off points, I'm picky about that. It's just too easy to just watch where you're sewing. Take that extra second and take a peek. Make sure you're not sewing that point on. That's all. There, okay, so same thing. You're going to want to press the middle one, press those to the middle. The top and bottom one, press those out. I chopped off my point here. Wow. So I'm going to take that out and fix it. See, this one's tricky because you've got points here going that way on this star and this point here going that way on this star. So you just want to be careful. Maybe put a couple pins in. Okay, so same thing with this one. These points are here and this one is here, and I can look and see this one is a little bit close, so I'm going to pay more attention to that one than this one. That one seems to have given me a little bit of extra room. So I want to line up my seams, put in a pin, line up this seam here so that they nest. And then I'm going to put a pin right here in the middle where that seam is. Because where the seams cross, you want to sew right through the middle of that or just to the right of it, and you won't chop off your points. So just slow down. Oh my goodness, so we're almost there. So guess what we're going to do with the next round? The same thing, right? Definitely make sure you do that second stitch and get your extra little bonus half square triangle out of that. And, you know, because otherwise, you know, that's a lot of waste. And who knows, maybe I'll make something really cute to go with that. I don't know what I would make. What would you make with these extra half square triangles? In the comments below, tell me what you would make. I would love to see it. This is a really fun block. I mean, even if you just did just this far, and for another quilt, you could just make a whole bunch of these and put them together in a quilt, a pillow, whatever it is you're making. This is a really fun one. Okay, so for our last row of flying geese, don't be intimidated by these whatsoever because they're bigger. Because they're bigger, I think it almost makes them a little bit easier. I mean, you know, and it's definitely easier for me to show you what I'm doing here. So you line that up, draw your line, or if you've got the diagonal seam tape on your machine, you just sew corner to corner. And then add that second stitch a half an inch away from that first one. And you've got the idea, right? See here what I'm talking about? Can you see that okay? So I'm using white thread on yellow. You might not be able to see it okay, but I did sew a line right here from this corner to corner. And on this side, because this is going to flip back here, and this is going to be cut off. So this side, the side that's going to be cut off, is where you want to add that second stitch. Okay, so now we are talking big star and a star, 22-inch block. Look at how fast and easy this thing comes together. Isn't it great? I love this one. Okay, so it's as easy as that. You get the idea. The next step is we're going to sew these rows together, these together, these together, so those all together, and then that's our block. This part of our block should measure 22 inches. That'll be the finished size, so 22.5 is really what you're going to get. And so then you're going to add your little sashing strips around this block when you're done, and then you're going to have this beautiful, beautiful star in a star in a star block. I love it. I'm so excited to share this one with you. I can't wait. I can't wait to see the blocks that you're going to all make. So go to My Quilting Loft Facebook page, click on Join Group, and then there you can see all the blocks that everybody else is doing with their fabric, and you can post a picture of your block that you're doing with your fabric. So anyway, that is it. So this is the last of our blocks. Our next tutorial is just going to be a quick and easy, let's put it all together and we'll reveal what this quilt is gonna be. I am really excited for that. All right, so you guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Remember to subscribe to my Facebook channel, hit the like button if you like this video, and hit the little reminder button so you'll be notified, I should say, when I post the next video. Now, I do a Facebook live sale every Saturday at 10, except for August 27th or something like that. I'll be on vacation. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I'm so excited for my vacation and I can't wait to tell you all about it. Anyway, but make sure you watch our Facebook live sale, and when that sale is over, I'm going to start posting those onto our YouTube page. So the instructions for ordering from that are going to be a little bit different because it's not going to be live unless I can figure out the technology for that. So when I do, I will be sure to, you'll be the first to know about that. But meanwhile, you can shop from our Facebook Live sales through Monday night from each sale, and I will honor those prices. So you're going to want to make sure you're following those. And they are fun. I tell you, they are fun. So anyway, thank you. Thank you so much for following along with this tutorial and for all the ones leading up to so far. And there's just one more, putting it all together. And I can't wait. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.